Dr. Scott with Phantom Works Rocket Cars. And if you are watching this video, you have gotten a very extreme gift. On this video that you have right here, yes, right there, on this DVD, you have the instructions on how to launch one of these. Yes, this car right here we affectionately call Captain America. It is one of our fastest and straightest cars. But what you've been given is a gift and an adventure. In 1982, I was told by the United States Navy I could no longer launch my Estes rockets on the Navy base. And now there is a standing rule at Norfolk Naval Station that you cannot launch rockets on that station. Thank you very much. So I had leftover engines. How did I come up with rocket cars? I went to the exchange, bought a Ken and Barbie Doom Buggy, and I taped my engines to the Ken and Barbie Doom Buggy and launched it across the parking lot. That was the birth of rocket cars for Scott. And since then we've been going, and over the years, I've been doing this since 1982, we have had hundreds of rocket cars. And recently, over the last couple years, we've been giving some away. We've been building them just for people to have. Now the great thing about rocket cars is they do two things. They teach you math and they teach you physics. Because as you're gonna see at the end of this DVD, we're gonna show you videos of some of the rocket cars launching and going downrange. But before we do that, I want to get into the safe operation of how to handle your rocket car. Your rocket car is, by classification, a toy, but it's also like getting that first BB gun. You don't want to shoot yourself because it will hurt. It won't kill you, but it will hurt. And so we want to take you through the safe operation of a rocket car. And to do that today, I have my chief engineer here at Phantom Works, Jacob, and he's going to take you through and show you how to put together and launch a rocket car. And then also I want to say thank you to my videographer, Jennifer, and to our chief editor, Joseph. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give it over to Jacob, and he's going to take you through how to launch, and then as he's done doing that, I'm also going to take you through some safety procedures that he probably has forgotten about. So just stand by because we're going to show you how to launch your rocket car. Take it away, Jacob.
The safe operation of a rocket car requires multiple things. One, that you have at least a 10-foot blast area behind the vehicle, as these shoot out a large jet of flame. They could potentially cause third-degree burns if you're too close, so that's an important thing. If it's not obvious that since you're shooting what was essentially a missile across the parking lot, don't stand in front of it. You will hurt yourself and the car, and then all of that will be wasted. So it's time to show you the correct procedures in putting a car together. Once you've established your parking lot, which would be preferably a lot that has long enough space for the run out of the car, because inertia will keep the car moving after the engine's burnt out, you will need to find a parking lot with no bumps or ruts, because that will cause the car to jump. And you want a rocket car, not a rocket plane.
Yes, because they will go airborne. So if they jump, they will go airborne.
The likely engine you will be running is a C. There are many variants of the C, but we can just start with the basic C67, which is a small engine that's good for beginners, but is also kind of powerful.
And you also got a pack of those in your gift bag, or your gift box.
Although you got a C65. Anyways, so this is how they come stock. This will not fit in your engine mount. The mounts are too big. The engine mount, which this one is smaller than normal as this is a C-burning car only, this will fit loosely. Well, you don't want that, because if your engine cuts loose while your car is launching, it could potentially be a hazard to you, your car, and anything else within the radius that it may or may not turn in. So the best course of action is to take a roll of duct tape and roll it around your engine. Once you've gotten your correct size, which you can just measure up multiple times until you get it right, and if you have to, remove some tape. It won't hurt the engine and it will keep you safe. Then once you are ready, you place the engine inside. Once you have your engine inside, there's a certain procedure which requires the igniter. Be sure not to bend this too much, as this is the primary form on how your car is going to launch. You insert it into the back end, the nozzle, which is identified by the hole, and to keep that from falling out, you will have a cap, which in this case of a C is pink. You then, once you have your igniter in there, you then press this so that it is tight, and then this is where the part where you can bend the igniter. You would bend this up, and then you would take the two prongs and you would bend them sideways. That is because on the launcher, it has gator clips, and to which if you have your gator clips touch contacts before launch, it will not ignite. The engine will not ignite. When it is time to launch, you then place this car on the ground, but for this example purpose, I'm not going to, because we're not launching it in a house, which is, if it's not obvious enough, is a stupid idea. You put each gator clip on the igniter ends that you've just bent, and then you stand at your far enough distance.
Stand to the side, do not stand directly behind.
Or in front.
In your kit, each of you have gotten a launcher. They're all gonna look like this. And they have about, I'm not gonna pull it all out here, but they have about 40 foot of cable. So when you launch, you wanna stand to the side of the car. And then when you put the engine in, if you notice when he put the igniter in, it's on the bottom side of the engine, because when the engine ignites, it's going to cause the igniter to shoot out as well, but you don't want to burn your clips, so you don't want to place it on top, you want it on the bottom, so the clips just fall off. Yes, they get hot, but they don't burn. So when you do that, it's a very safe operation doing it that way, but never stand directly behind it. Stand off to the left or to the right on the other side.
Now, there is a procedure for launching, because I bet you're really anxious to do that at this point. So, once you've gotten your gator clips attached, actually, as a matter of fact, before you even try to attempt to attach your gator clips, there's some certain safety features on this device. This is a key. Once you press this in, you are armed. Once this button is pushed, it will ignite. Before you try to attach these, make sure the key, as a precaution of safety, is not in, because you will get third-degree burns and you will have to go to the hospital if that engine ignites while you are behind it and your hands are that close to it. Once they are clipped and you are ready for launch, you will stand back away from the car to make sure there's also no people or vehicles or animals in front or behind the car. Stay at least 5 feet to the side of the vehicle so that you at least have some clearance for the car to do its thing. Once you are ready, you will hold this down. The light will illuminate, indicating that this is a live circuit. The next button you push will be this. Once it is pushed, the engine, it will send an electrical signal to the igniter, which will melt it and ignite the engine, sending the car downrange. Once you are done, you will remove the key and make sure that this is not active and put it in an area that you know won't cause any harm. Then you will go retrieve said car. Now, another thing about these engines are, once this is ignited, the pink cap along with the igniter will fly out. Unless you want to, well,
that's why you don't stand behind it.
Well, that's one of many reasons. One of the things to consider is that you will leave a trail. These two pieces will still remain, and it is good to pick them up. As well as that, once the car has finished its burn, it will sit for a few seconds, at least 3, which to then it will send an ejection charge which will blast out the engine. Be sure you keep an eye on where that goes. This will have explosive residue, and if something happens and the police find it, they will find it. It will screw up everything for them, because they will find out why is there gun residue on a cardboard tube. And it's also just nice to keep your area clean. I mean, if you're going to use someone's parking lot, at least clean up after yourself. The car will leave a white powder trail on the parking lot. It will leave a burn mark. It's an engine. What do you want it to do? Make flowers? And don't worry about that.
Because
that
it will
powder,
wash away.
That powder will wash in the next rain. If you're in the desert, you're screwed. Sorry, sucks to be you. But it will leave no lasting effects on the concrete. So I will leave it back to the owner of this operation.
When you launch, it is really important that you give a 3 count. That way everybody knows that you're about to hit the live button and send the car downrange. So we always start at 3, 2, 1. The reason we do that is it lets everybody know, and we yell it too. When we do a big race, like we just did out at UNF or at FSCJ, we had all kinds of people there, and we had all kinds of cars running. But every time we launched, we yelled 3, 2, 1. That let everybody know in the parking lot, hey, there's something coming downrange. Keep your eyes on the car, because these cars with a C motor, the average speed of the car will be about 40 miles an hour. That's to 1-to-1 scale. To actually 10-to-1 scale, if you do the math, it's almost 600 miles an hour at 10-to-1 scale at 120 or at 132 feet. So it's all scale, but 1-to-1, it does about 40 miles an hour. Now, this car right here, as you grow, because your cars all have this motor mount, that's a demonstration model. This one is the exact same kind of motor mount that you have. And this one can carry up to an E. And you can get up to about 100, 110 miles an hour. If you hit something at that speed, it will shatter the car. But if it's a bone, it will shatter the bone. That's why we tell people, if you are under the age of 13 or 14, you do not operate these alone. If you are under 14, you have to have parental supervision. In other words, mom and dad, aunt and uncle, somebody has to be with you to make sure that it's a safe operation, because if these do hit you, they will hurt you. And so we don't want anybody to get hurt. We want everybody to have fun, because once you watch it launch and you see the smoke and you hear the ejection charge, it is a really cool adventure. And so I want to tell you, once you get used to your car, then you can modify it. If you want to take your stickers off your car or whatever, you can. This one was covered in stickers. I took the stickers off, I painted it red, white, and blue, and then I put stars on it. I have another car that I just had an artist paint for me. We believe in beautiful cars. Do not show that car. That car is top secret. And so we have a lot of different things that you can show. And here's the best part. Once you learn how the physics of this works, this is your actual engine mount. Now, these are not normal tires. These are actually aircraft tires. These are not the Walmart plastic tires. These tires are actually pretty expensive. All of them are. The axles are aircraft axles. They're for aircraft, RC aircraft. Basically, what you are operating is an RC rocket car without any control. And that's the fun part, is doing the math to keep the car straight and to keep the car on the ground. Now, I can tell you this car right here has hit a few things rather hard, but yet you can see it still survived. It has survived, and it will do different things. And there are, of course, different types of tires. Those are very heavy tires. And different sizes and stuff like that. But as you get into it, you may want to find your own car and build your own car. This is a car I built a long time ago, and it's a car that I've had, pre-children and actually pre-marriage. It's a car that I went to Walmart, found a plastic car, I put front tires on it, put an engine mount in it, and it's been running ever since. And then, of course, Jacob, being the engineer that he is, he wanted a car just like it. So he built one just like it. His is actually a little bit better than mine. His motor mount's a little bit different design. But you will notice that the engine mounts are big. In other words, these are designed to carry big engines. These, what you're starting with, are small in comparison. This is what we normally run, and you can actually fit the engines that you're going to be running inside the engines that we normally use. And then, of course, you have this one, and this one's the biggest one right now. We have not ever fired this yet because we actually need a runway to do it, because it will literally launch the cars about a half mile to a mile downrange. And right now there's no parking lot big enough for that. So there's different scales of engines. And if you're not sure, you can even go smaller than a C. You can go A. They go A, B, C, D, E, F, and G is the biggest one that you can buy. A G will not fit in your car, and actually neither will an F. The biggest that will fit in your car that we have given you today is an E. I hope you enjoy your rocket car. What?
Before we wrap up, it is important that you will store your launcher in a good condition. If you're going to be storing it for long periods of time, you would want to remove the batteries by removing these two screws and placing the batteries elsewhere. They will corrode and you will ruin the launcher. These are about $25 as of 2019, so they're not cheap. To store it, once you've decided to, you will take the key, wrap it around, and then you will take the key head and loop it under itself. There it will not be loose and flailing around. You will then take the cable and wrap it around like this so that it doesn't ever grow, it doesn't get kinks, it doesn't bond up, and it keeps this thing compact, because if you leave a giant cable mess, it can really mess a lot of things up, and if you leave it in the open, which is not a good idea, you can trip it. You can trip over it and it will not be fun, because it's worse than stepping on Lego. I don't know that from experience, because I never mess with my launchers like that. These are also compatible with normal vertical Estes rockets. If you decide that maybe the car thing isn't for you, or maybe it's time to explore the sky along with the ground, these will also work on Estes rocket engines, but we are not covering that, as that is a different subject for another time and
another video.
Yes. So, as we wrap up, have fun, and
just remember, your kit will have everything that you need to launch your rocket car, with the exception of the tape. The tape you have to supply yourself, but you will have an instructional DVD. You will have the batteries for your launcher. And we're even, as a good measure of faith, we're going to give you 3C engines to start your adventure. And then you're going to have your launcher. So I hope you enjoy this. And hopefully, if you get into it, you can come out to one of our big races, because we race all the time. We race other people from other parts of the state. And so if you're interested in coming out, let us know and you can race with us. And we'd love to have you. I hope you enjoy your evening. I hope you enjoy your gift, because your gift was built with the purpose of, the reason you got this gift is because we at Phantom Works and the Lathrops love you, and we know that there's something special about you that loves math and physics. God bless you. Yes. God bless you.
I toasted a wheel.
I don't know what to say to that other than at least my wheels stayed on. You may have beat me by a parking lot, but my wheels stayed on.